Hello, everybody. This is Brett Davis with Brett Davis Unleash, coming to you from IQ Podcast in beautiful Coronado, California, at Attorney King's Studios. I'm Brett Davis. Today, my special guest, who it's an honor to finally get to interview, Harry Mock. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Brett. How are you today?
Phenomenal. So, you've had a very interesting life. I can say it hasn't been boring.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's been very interesting.
So, when's your birthday? Out of curiosity.
March 1st, 1958.
You're
I'm an old guy.
I'm
an old guy. I am a year dog. Absolutely.
You're not an old guy. You look phenomenal.
Oh, thanks.
So first of all, you started in martial arts at what age?
8.
That's a good number.
I started, yeah, in the Chinese, Asian culture. Number 8 is for good luck. If you have the more 8s you have, the more better luck you have.
Yeah, that's infinity.
Exactly. I actually started off, not by choice, because we were in Northern California in the South Bay. A lot of the Chinese were into growing chrysanthemums, so they had a lot of chrysanthemum growers. So they created an association called the Bay Area Chrysanthemum Growers Association, and I was, every year they would have like Chinese New Year's celebration, and what they would do is they would it lasts for like almost a month, and so they finally realized that, well, in the tradition, we have to ward off evil spirits and bring in good fortune by performing the lion dance tradition. So they had us young guys starting off doing the lion dance, and then normally what goes along with that is traditional kung fu, but that's not what I studied. I studied Shotokan in the beginning.
So were you doing competitions, or was it just the practice, the art?
No. It was to every year we would do that to bring, every year during Chinese New Year's, they do lion dancing to ward out the evil spirits and bring in the new year and things of that nature, bring good luck to businesses and whatever have you. So that's what we were doing every year. And then along with that came the martial arts as well.
Now, I've heard things about people being stuck in their life or even having health problems because possibly there could be negative energy or evil spirits around. What's your take on that?
Well, when you talk about evil spirits and everything, my personal take on it, it's only as complicated as you allow it to be. So I've never allowed complications in my life. When they come around, you learn, in growing as an individual, as a human, you learn to either go under it, around it, or over it, and in worst case scenario, you blast right through it. So I don't allow these negative things to enter into my circle.
Good. Are you? Do you feel energy like that? And are you away? Do you have a way of getting yourself out of those circumstances? Are you sensitive to negative energy at all?
I'm not very sensitive to it, but I do feel negative energy, and when I do, I just, if you let it come into you, and you let it possess you, then it changes your life. You have to let it go pass through you. Right. Every day we get negative energy. Sure. In one shape or form, we get negative energy. But if you allow that energy to possess you and stir within your soul, then it just causes a lot of complications. Depression and whatever issues people normally have. I don't allow that to happen. I just, find a way to let it pass through and come up with solutions, and just to live a better, healthier life.
Do you think that this current situation of COVID-19, a lot of people are having problems not thinking about what's going on? Some people having problems adapting, not doing the things they need to do to be more positive on a daily basis.
Absolutely. There are people going stir crazy. I've even heard of some people committing suicide,
Yeah,
because of it, and it's a problem because, we as humans, we've been brought into this world, in this during this part of our lives. Who would have ever expected anything like this to happen within our lifetime? We've experienced 9/11, which was tragic. We've experienced in '08, we experienced the the collapse of the banking system for housing and all that. But now what we're experiencing today, it's globally, right? It changes the way our life will never be the same.
no.
So we have to adapt to this. And if you don't adapt to this, then what happens is you're going to be consumed with all this negative energy and all this worry, and if you don't find a way to get out of that, who knows what would happen. It could happen to an individual. Depression, just about anything you could think of. We have to learn how to adapt and be ahead of the game. You got to think out of the box during this time. Like, everyone right now is under quarantine, right? Under lockdown, right? Well, I've been more busy than I have been, before the quarantine. I've always been busy, but I'm even more busy now.
What do you think what's the reason you think that you're busier?
Because I'm thinking out of the box.
Ah.
I'm not playing along the game of quarantine, pandemic. Oh, life is not going to ever be the same again.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do? I'm not working right now. I got laid off, and there's more you can do. You could figure it out. There's a lot of, like, for example, our animation team in Valencia, Spain, has, everyone's working out of the house now. They were able to, I could produce a full-length animated feature right now with all my team working out of their house.
It's amazing. Well, I found out we do have a special guest that wants to pop in and say hi in a little bit, but I'm not going to say who it is.
Okay.
Oh, no. Really? Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody we know or I know?
No, let's find out.
Oh, wow. Surprise me.
Still connecting, it seems like. But in the meantime, while this is still connecting, I don't disagree with you. I'm actually busier. I think double busier now than I was before all
right?
of this. Right?
Absolutely.
Zoom in a way, and finding ways to be able to adapt and find new ways to do things. I mean, I knew teleconference was coming, but it seemed like we had to speed up things quicker.
Technology is a great thing.
I'm finding that I'm cooking more. I made a wonderful soup yesterday.
Awesome.
That I like,
nice.
A nice bone broth soup with nice vegetables, and I made it for the whole family, and there's none left, so I think they loved it.
Nice. There you go.
Those are things that, because we're always on the go in a different way, that we're doing more things out of our houses than I think we have in a lot of years.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's a very good time to connect with family, work on projects at the house that you've been meaning to get done, but just never seem to have the time to get done. We've been, did I get disconnected here?
No, you're there. I see you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, but there's someone else here.
Oh, there's somebody else here. Oh.
I hear a voice. I don't normally hear voices, but I'm hearing voices now.
Uh-oh. Wait.
Hey, hi, this is Sharon Bruneau.
Oh,
I know who Sharon Bruneau is. Finally got her. I don't see her face, but I hear your voice.
Work this thing. Hold on. How do I do this?
Just push on the bottom where the camera is, it shows a camera. Just hit that camera and it'll open up.
All right. What, this?
Oh no.
Huh. There you are.
You guys see me?
Oh, there you go. Wait.
Hi.
There you are. Talk.
See my crazy hair.
So it's good to see you, Sharon. Nice surprise.
Hi, Brett. I want to surprise my dear friend Harry, and you as well. I haven't seen you in so long, man.
Tell me about it. I really love both of your energy. The thing is, I think, like all of us, we love life and we love to be around like-minded people. And you're two individuals that I've always admired. I never got a chance to really talk to Harry, but I'll tell you, we need more positive.
I'll bounce in and out so you can get a chance to talk to Harry.
No. Be in the interview. It would be nice to get your thoughts on a lot of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how are you, Sharon? How are you holding up with everything? Are you finding new projects to work on?
I'm working a couple. I don't want to say anything right now because I don't want to jinx them. But mainly, I just walk and sleep and walk and do my push-ups and good Lord. I mean, this is like I'm in the twilight zone.
Right? Absolutely.
I'm not traveling anymore. I don't do red carpets anymore like I used to, especially in LA. And it's like, good God. But you know what? Over here in Canada, things are moving along. I want to say quicker than the US. We don't know what's going on, but we're going to be locked down until July.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How fun is that?
I've heard the same thing.
Right?
I've heard the same thing over here. I've heard I keep hearing the July coming up. I've been talking to people at the health department who've been on the show, and they're saying probably July also.
Oh, I thought in the US this was going to be like May.
I think there's going to be parts of the U.S. that are in situations where they'll have to stay locked down longer, but the areas that seem to be having less cases are going to be opening up sooner.
They keep on pushing it. They push it from end of April to May, now July, and then I even hear some people saying end of summer, August. So
yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
I have family in the nursing industry, and they were telling us yesterday, I mean, this whole process. For example, we're hearing people with challenged immune systems are getting this, but she was talking about a 30-year-old gentleman that was a week ago had been admitted, and he was looking really good, and he was about ready to leave, and then all of a sudden he ended up relapsing like very quick, and then he ended up in ICU, and she's not sure if he made it.
Oh.
Well, Brett, how are you holding up?
Well, like Harry and probably like you, I'm going back to a lot of things I grew up doing. I mean, a lot of us started training out of our houses when we were younger because we didn't have the gyms that we do nowadays.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
So I've gone back to that, and I've been, yesterday I made a delicious soup that came out okay. I was kind of nervous, but it turned out okay. So there's things that in the home that I'm doing more so now than I probably have in a long time.
So you're cooking?
Well, I've always cooked, but the thing is, the traveling takes time, and I love to travel just like both of you do. But I'm finding that traveling through Zoom is great, but it's not the same as doing the regular traveling.
It's not the same, yeah.
But and I hope that it does come back, and I know it will. But it's nice having an extension of things added to that we can do to do meetings and get our message across.
Well, Brett.
Sharon?
You know what Harry's been doing?
Sure.
He's been giving out free haircuts.
I don't have any hair, and it's a long distance for me. Sorry, Harry.
Hey,
you go broke with me, Harry.
There you go. Yeah, I went on Facebook.
God.
I went Facebook Live the other day, and I was cutting a friend's hair, and I
saw that.
I got.
I saw that.
Hey, Sharon, I have a question for you.
Yes, my dear. What?
Why are you so beautiful?
And be nice.
Why are you so beautiful?
Okay, Brett, this guy's been on lockdown for a long time.
maybe we should do this is going to start getting a visual. Maybe I need to turn some of the visual part off and let you guys do what you need to do.
It's so stupid.
I just want to see.
We could get some good numbers.
No, I'd be more beautiful if you came over and cut my hair, Harry.
Okay.
But wait, you can't cross the border.
Oh, rats. Right?
But hey, you know what? Let's go back into the fitness part. I'm going to jump that. No, you know what I do is, people are out there, even over here. And there's a school like 2 blocks from me. And what I do every morning, and I try to relay to people that do message me, or I'll put it on my Facebook. I just go over there. I'll run the track. The schoolyard is empty. Run the track, do my burpees, my push-ups, my lunges, and just like stay active.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to stay active. Even if it's just a walk.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. I'm hearing in some cities, if you go out and do that, they'll freaking cite you.
They do. If you're in certain areas, even over here, they will cite you in
That's
certain
true.
areas over here. Yeah,
that's absurd. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So where I'm having the show at in Coronado, I don't know if either of you have been in Coronado, by the Hotel Del. And the mayor here is he's taking some heat because, like us, he's a very physical guy. He works out, he's in phenomenal shape, and you walk around here on a weekend or even during the weekday, people are running a lot of people are not wearing masks. They're staying away from each other, but they're running along the beach, and they're running, they're bicycling. And so he's getting a lot of heat from some of the other mayors in San Diego County for that. But nobody's getting in big groups.
Interesting.
Everybody's
right.
Distance.
Yeah, staying respectable.
Some people are really afraid. Some people are really afraid that this thing, even if you're 20 feet away, that you're going to get it, and you should be, wrapped like a mummy.
Oh boy.
Well, I've seen people here wrapped like mummies, like ski suits and goggles and everything else. Like, I do stay safe. Mask and gloves on, but oh my God, like wrapped like a mummy. But, and we can go on into another avenue, and I don't want to go there, but there's such a fear. Like, we should be concerned, but there's such, with the news going on, with the pandemic, and there's such a fear right now. And it's like people are just, I have a funny story. I did the market this morning because I ran out of eggs. So I went, now I don't know about you all in the US. Here in Canada, you go to the supermarkets and they actually have to, they didn't have to, but they actually have like foot places, like, so you're staying like here in Canada, 2 meters apart. All right, so you move up because you have to stand in line to check out. So this guy was reaching over me for something. I didn't care. I have my mask on, and I'm like, dude, you're getting too close to me. Back off, But I don't care. It's like, I do, but I don't. He got so scared he fell on his ass. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, man. So, and I helped. It's like, no, I was joking. It's okay. I don't have the plague. And it's like, you guys.
Do you agree? Do you both agree that the immune system, in a lot of cases, plus keeping your body clean, which these are things that we know of anyway, but do you think maybe somewhere along the way that these are basic things people have just lost touch with?
Well, hello. Who doesn't wash their hands throughout the day? Who doesn't shower every day? Who wears the same clothes 2 days in a row? I mean, I don't.
I don't either.
Well, I don't. I do. I wear my same clothes for like about a week and a half. I don't shower. I shower once a month,
Yeah, I witnessed that. Yeah, it's a big stinky man.
Hey,
Terry Bach is nasty.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you.
Of course I'm joking.
Thank you for the props.
You said it.
They both are bad.
Brett, you were saying, Brett?
Yes.
You were saying?
No, I just think that these are common sense things in wellness that we've always known about. You keep your body clean. You change. I mean, I can tell you right now, our sheets, I'm constantly changing pillowcases. I've always been that way. So I don't see,
Mm-hmm.
the things that we're talking about for me.
Are you that nasty, Brett?
I'm a germ. I am nasty, but I'm more of a germ phobe. I'm a total germ phobe.
Are you a Howie Mandel?
Yeah, well, not to that extreme, but I mean, if I see smudges or things, I get really kind of, I've walked out of restaurants before.
Well, let's to answer your question in regards to building the immune system. I think that's extremely important to being able to help fight off what's going on right now to keep yourself healthy and fit. Because if you notice that a lot of the people that are having the major issues right now are the people that their immune systems, are somehow, at a disadvantage. And those are the people, a lot of the people, the elderly, they're the ones that, I say elderly, I'm 62. So, but I'm keeping my health, I'm keeping my health, my immune system strong, and I don't think a lot of people know how to do that, really know how to do that. They just eat what they eat. They do what they do. They have all these habits, these bad habits. And some people, sure, they're taking their vitamins and minerals, but they're doing maybe overtaking vitamins and minerals, not knowing which ones to take to help build their immune system. They're saying, I use this product called C-salts, and you might have heard me talk about it. It's the letter C-salts. And I've been using that for 25 years. And I'll tell you what, I haven't been to the doctor for a cold. Well, let me back up. I used to have to go to the doctors every year, at least once, if not twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year, because I'd get bronchitis. I was very susceptible to getting bronchitis. So once I found this product and a buddy of mine put me onto, I tell you what, I haven't been to the doctor for bronchitis or a cold or a fever, flu in 25 years.
Wow. So what's in it?
And
but you know what, Harry, to top on top of that, always, even before the COVID came along, you're supposed to take care of your immune system. You're supposed to take care of yourself. You're supposed to protect yourself. You're supposed to wash your hands, and I agree with you. It's like the immune is the biggest thing. And Brett, you competed. Harry went through his arts as an athlete, a top athlete. You know how to take care of yourself through nutrition and supplements. Absolutely. Now this is the big thing. Oh, you got to build your immune. Well, you should have been doing that anyway. And through my travels and Harry's travels, and I know Brett traveled too, you promote health and wellness. I mean, you got to take care of yourself, especially now. And it's not news. Take care, especially your immune. I always took L-lysine for the longest time before I found out about the sea salts and everything else and zinc. I always took L-lysine, and I hardly ever got a cold, let alone never a flu.
That's good.
Now, now they're teaching people. And hey, Brett, I don't know if this is true. I'm a news hog. I always follow the news. Did you hear Colorado wants to the mayor in Colorado wants to shut down all the vitamin stores?
I did hear that.
What?
I heard that.
Oh,
why is that?
That's absurd.
I don't know.
Isn't that, Harry?
Why would they do that? That doesn't make. I did hear that yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, that's absurd. But Brett,
well, I only have one word to say. Well, 2 words. Big pharma.
Okay. Yeah.
They want people to get sick. They want you to go to the doctors. They want you to buy their pharmaceuticals. That's just my thought.
No, they want to give you the vaccine.
Why would you shut down vitamin stores of all things right now? I mean,
they're trying to push that vaccine on us.
Is that?
Yeah.
They want to push that vaccine on us, is what they want to do. Because if you don't build your immune system and you get sick and you get the COVID, and it gives them more reason to push that vaccine on you. But to answer your question, Brett, in regards to the sea salts, is it comes in a powder form, a buffered vitamin C. It's effervescent, and each teaspoon is 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C with magnesium, zinc, and iron and potassium. And that's the combination that kills the infection in the lungs. And I tell you, I've done it. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've done it, even when I've gotten sick and gotten bronchitis. And if I hadn't done anything, I probably would have turned into walking pneumonia. But I'd start on the sea salts right away. and it would knock out the infection. And, and I know it knocks it
Yes.
out because I would normally hack up all that discolored stuff,
Right.
that yucky stuff. But
Right.
but when I'm done with the sea salts, within a few days, it's clear. So that's how
Harry,
I know it works.
talk about your
Yeah.
cleanse.
Oh yeah, and that's a good point, Sharon. In regards to the cleanse,
I'll be right back.
I'll-
I'm going to take a call. But
Okay.
talk about the cleanse.
Okay, so let me tell you about the Master Cleanser. What I discovered, Brett. What I discovered was, and I accidentally stumbled upon it. And if you're familiar with the Master Cleanser, it's the lemon juice, organic grade B maple syrup and cayenne pepper diet, as they call it. Okay, it's a total detox. And what I did was I used to do it. I've done it for over 10 years, and I used to do it for I'd do it for 10 days and take about 2 days coming off of it, And then one year I decided to start doing it 3 times a year, every 4 months, like January, May, and September. So what happened was I'd gotten sick. I remember I gotten sick in like March, and man, I was sick. I was hacking and coughing and everything, and I started taking the sea salts, and I got rid of the infection, but I was still left with this chronic cough. And for the life of me, I just couldn't get rid of it. And I was literally coughing for a couple months. And it was miserable. I couldn't be around anyone that was smoking. It would make me cough. I couldn't eat anything greasy or oily. It'd make me cough. At night, it gets worse, And so here I am, 2 months into this. I'm in May. I'm getting ready to start this fast. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, shoot, maybe I better not because I'm still sick. So I thought, well, I got to go to LA in a couple of weeks. If I don't do it now, when am I going to be able to do it? So I was pretty adamant about wanting to get it done. So I thought, hell, I'm just going to start it, sick or not, right? So I started the fast, and the 3rd day into my fast, I noticed something really peculiar. My cough was 100% gone. And I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute, was I at the tail end of being sick, or did the Master Cleanser clear out my lungs, from with the cayenne pepper and everything? So I'm thinking to myself, I wanted to believe that it helped clear it up. So what happened was the following year, I had started the fast in January. February, my son got the flu. I ended up getting it from him. Here I am, coughing and hacking again. I start the sea salts, right? Clears out the infection again, but I've been coughing for about a month now. And I said, oh man, I can't go on like this for another month like last time. So I said to myself, you know what? I think I'm going to start the fast early, instead of, because right now I'm in March, right? Coughing since, February, I'm turning March. And I'm thinking, I don't want to, my next fast is May, but I'm going to start it early to see whether or not this gets rid of the cough. So I start the cough, and then lo and behold, on the 3rd day, I'm noticing, hey, wait a minute, I'm not coughing no more. So I'm convinced that the Master Cleanser cured this chronic cough, right? And so what happened was I went to old retired doctor buddy of mine, and I told him about it, and I was excited, hey, I think I found a cure for the chronic cough, I told him, and he's like, malarkey, you have to have a 100 case study at Harvard, and yada, yada, yada. He goes, you're just imagining things. They're just at the tail end of it. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right. Okay, whatever, but I still believed it. So here's the icing on the cake, right? So fast forward to July, one of my business colleagues, he gets sick, and he's hacking and coughing. And I'm like, God, Jerry, you sound terrible, man. I got something that could help maybe take that away, get rid of that. And he goes, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to a doctor. I'm going to get some medication. I said, you sure? And he said, yeah, I'm okay. All right, Jerry. So that's in July, right? So he never stopped hacking and coughing. He got a little better, but he still had to, just still had that little bit. And then he had to go to China to go to one of our manufacturing facilities that was manufacturing my isobo when I invented this fitness product. And he gets there, and right off the bat, he start coughing and hacking, and he's sick as a dog, right? He's just like, first day there. So he's there for 10 days, miserable, ended up in the hospital, and he came back, and first thing he went to the doctors, and again, he gets medication. And I told him, I said, hey, Jerry, I got something that could help you with that. He goes, no, I already got my medication. I'm good. I said, okay. So long story short, we fast forward to December. So we're talking 6 months. He'd been in and out of the doctors 3 or 4 times, and he finally tells me in December, I got to go in because they think I might have TB. I said, TB? Dude, stay away from me, man, because that is contagious. And so he
I
goes in
had that when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes in and he takes a Sputnik test, comes back negative, and he says, yeah, but the doctor wants me to come back in because they found this mass in my lungs. And I literally cursed him out. I said, damn it, Jerry, you better freaking do what I tell you to do. Otherwise, the next thing you know, they're going to want to cut you open and you're really going to be screwed. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. Just tell me what to get. I'll start tonight. So I give him the ingredients. He starts it that night. He comes back in on a Monday and he says, man, that stuff's not too bad. He goes, it just tastes like a spicy lemonade. I feel pretty good. And I said, Jerry, just stay on course, man. Give yourself about 4 days. You know, you've been coughing for 6 months. So he stays on course. 4 days goes by. I asked him, I said, okay, Jerry, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being perfect, how are you feeling? And he goes, man, I got to tell you, I feel like about a 9.8. I said, that's great. I said, why don't you give yourself 1 more day and, just to be safe. And he goes, yeah, but there's going to be a wedding this weekend. There's going to be food there, And I said, so you want to come off? And he goes, yeah. I said, if you come off, promise me one thing. And he says, what? Tell me, whatever. And I said, promise me that you will not eat anything oily or greasy and eat clean. And he says, okay, I promise. So he goes to that wedding on the weekend in Monterey. He comes back to the office on Monday and he comes up to me and he says, Harry, I owe you an apology. An apology? What for? And he says, I'm 100% now. And if I would have listened to you 6 months ago, I wouldn't have suffered for the whole 6 months. So that's my story.
I believe you.
And it will cure that chronic cough. And let me, I want to explain something else to you too. This is even more important. Okay. 25 years ago, when I got first put onto the sea salts, right? I had the bronchitis. I had the cough. It was bad. I wanted to go to the doctor. My buddy told me, well, what do you need the doctor for? I said, I have an infection in my chest. I'm hacking cough. I'm miserable. He goes, hey, I got something that'll take care of that. So he puts me onto the sea salt, right? And within 3 days, not only was the infection gone, my cough was gone too, okay? So fast forward 8 years, and I had that bad cough for 2 months, and I was taking the sea salts, but it never got rid. It got rid of the infection, but didn't get rid of the cough. And I'm wondering, why isn't it getting rid of the cough like it did before in the past? Well, I come to find out that the reason why is because I didn't have the flu virus. What I had was what they call chemtrail flu. Okay.
Wow.
And a doctor discovered that, and I knew about it prior to this, reading what this doctor wrote, and I came up with the cure. Okay.
So you do believe,
get rid of that cough.
You do believe in chemtrails?
Without a doubt. Are you kidding me?
Oh, me too.
It's the worst thing that these guys are spraying aluminum oxide and barium. So what's happening is that aluminum oxide, they call it chemtrail flu. It acts like the flu, but it's not the flu virus.
I've heard about
You'll get all the symptoms. You get all about the symptoms.
Right.
And what's happening is when you inhale that aluminum oxide, that's fine particles of aluminum getting into your lungs. That's infecting your lungs, right? And it creates this kind of phlegm in your lungs, the same phlegm that remember I told you my buddy, he went in and they found a mass in his lungs.
Right.
Well, same thing was happening with me. When I get rid of the hacking of the discolored stuff and it comes out clear, that clear stuff had a gritty, grimy feel to it, unlike a regular phlegm that what I would normally have. Right. Yeah. And I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, God, what is this stuff? It's like grimy. It's like, but it's clear. So it's because it's not a virus. It's artificially put in there from inhaling this aluminum oxide that they've been spraying all over the place. And if you've noticed within the past 15 years, you notice that there's been a lot of people having these bronchial problems, hacking and coughing, if you notice for the past 10, 15 years, more than you've ever noticed before. And it's because of what, it's because of what they're spraying.
It's in the air. And now look, guys, the one good thing about this close down is our oceans and beaches are getting cleaned up.
Right.
The sky is clear.
Right.
I mean, if you want to look at it as a positive way, it's like, because there's no pollutants. And, what Harry's saying about the chemtrails, absolutely, because, Brett, both you guys know, I came back here 4 years ago to take care of my dad, and we had the same thing over here. Freaking, and I thought it was just the exhaust from the planes.
No.
I mean, until Harry pointed it out, it's like, oh my God. And hey, Brett, because Harry and I talk throughout the week, but this early February, Harry can tell it, I got so sick, I couldn't even talk on the phone. I had to text, lost my voice. I hadn't been that sick for years. Last time I was that sick was when I had pneumonia when I was a kid at 12 years old. And I was like, my joints were aching. I lost my throat, felt like someone ripped it out. And, then I hear now that's the signs of COVID. And I think I had that already.
Or
didn't have
chemtrail
runny
flu.
nose, didn't have,
or chemtrail flu.
or chemtrails or 5Gs. I mean, there's so much shit going on in this world right now. It's crazy.
Right. Well, you're talking about earlier how, the chemtrails have had an impact. Well, I also heard, you talked about how the vitamin stores possibly are going to be shut down in Colorado. I've been hearing for a while that this whole COVID thing actually is the chemtrails.
Well, yeah, there's a parallel. There's several things, Brett, that's happening right now that are in parallel. And one thing is to offset another, to confuse you from another. Right. Some people are saying that the whole COVID thing was to kind of blanket what's happening with the 5G. And then also it's happening because it's supporting what the Gates Foundation wants to do to get everybody vaccinated and everybody chipped, right? So when you talk about this vaccination, you got to keep in mind that the coronavirus has been patented, and the patent is owned by the Gates Foundation, and also there's a patent on a vaccine. So the question is that if that's the case, then they're talking about, there are 70 different labs are working on a vaccine right now, and they're going to have it ready soon. It takes 3 years to make a real bona fide vaccine. Now, who in the hell is going to want to take a vaccine that they've been working on and put together within 6 months? I'm not going to take that vaccine. I've never taken vaccines. I know people that have died from paralysis.
I've never taken a flu shot.
Yeah, I know people that have died from flu shots.
Right.
For paralysis. I personally knew someone that died from that, and then other people that I've met that had their son died from it or kids died from it. I've heard like about 4 different people. And not only that, there's an old 60 Minutes interview, and I've learned this from that when I watched this interview. It was an interview in 1976. As a matter of fact, Dr. Bob just sent me that interview, and I've seen it years ago. And the guy from 60 Minutes was interviewing this doctor that alerted the whole entire country about the flu and got 1 something million people to take the flu shot. So the guy asked the doctor, he says, so you're the one that alerted the entire country to take the flu shot? And the doctor was so pompous, and he was like, yes, I was.
Of course.
And he says, well, what made you decide to do that? And he says, well, there was this soldier that came back from overseas, and he had the flu, and we didn't want to have a pandemic, so we wanted to have everybody be protected. And he says, so the interview says, so because of this one person, you alerted the whole entire country. And he goes, that's right. And he says, were you aware that out of the 1.2 million people that took the flu shot, were you aware that 16 of them contracted paralysis and 4 of them died? And all of a sudden, this doctor was like a deer in the headlight. We're like, I wasn't aware of that.
Wow.
And then fast forward, right? Buddy of mine was worked for this company that sold equipment to this lab in France that was making the bless you. That was
thank you.
Yeah, that was making the flu vaccine for the U.S. Well, it was that year that we didn't have any vaccine, and the U.S. was pushing them and pushing them, pushing them, pushing them to get this vaccine out as soon as possible. They didn't even finish the testing on it. So my buddy went and go visit that facility in France, to go, check up on him and everything. And the guy, he goes up to the chemist, right? And he asked the chemist. He said to him, "Would you give this vaccine to any of your family?" And the guy looked at him and he said,
Wow.
Yeah.
"No."
Well,
And
yeah.
and that has something to be said, because they didn't even finish the testing on it. And do you know what's in most of these vaccines? If you look at these vaccines, formaldehyde,
right,
mercury,
right,
all kinds of shit.
fetus,
Why would you?
fetus,
Yeah. Why would you want to frickin' put that into your body? And then I've heard so many people tell me about how sick they've gotten, and God, I'd never do the flu shot again because I got so sick, and yada yada yada. I've never taken the flu shot, and I've always fought it out.
I've also heard that a lot of the people that have the COVID have also had the vaccine for the flu shot.
Now, see, there's something to be said about that as well.
I'm sorry, hold on. What, Brett? You said they had the flu shot for the COVID?
No, these people in the past got the flu shot so they wouldn't get the flu, and the people that have died of COVID had the flu shot.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Had they not gotten the flu shot, the question is maybe they would still be here, I guess is what the theory was.
Exactly.
Oh my Lord. Well, and my biggest thing is I've never, and Brett and Harry, I have a lot of following, and I'm asked yearly, do you get the flu shot? No. Why? Because it lowers your body's inability, because it's dependent on that shot.
Right.
Oh, I don't have to work so hard, so I'll let this take care of it. But then it just lowers everything. And people end up either getting sick. Some do get better, or they think they're getting better because they probably didn't have the flu to begin with. Right. Or others die. And it's just another facade. It's like, why go get the flu shot? Again, take your vitamin C, take the supplements, look after yourself.
I think what Harry was sharing with us would be good information for my listeners, and get that information more out there so they can do the same thing so they don't get sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
With cleansing?
Yeah.
And Brett, you mentioned something that's actually important, okay? Because remember, I'm saying there's a lot of things that are happening in parallel. The vaccines that want to be pushed on us from the Gates Foundation, you got the COVID-19, you got the 5G network. They're even talking about that vaccine is going to put something in you that when that 5G, with that 5G, they could crank that 5G at any given time. And that 5G is a military grade, which originally used to do crowd control. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
Harry,
and so
I just want to ask you, Harry, sorry to cut you off, dear. Do you know that for a fact? Because we're on live and we don't want to spread information that you're really not aware of. Do you know that for a fact?
That is what, that is the,
you know what I mean?
Listen,
I'm your dear friend.
Is any of this factual? But it's out there. It's out there.
Okay.
I mean, it is out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the one that's
No. I'm on your side.
I think it's a conversation. I think it's a conversation, and this is not live, but it is a conversation.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Okay.
I wasn't sure, Brett.
No. Well, I mean, I always like a little safety net with some things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
But these are things that I'm hearing also. I mean, I've been hearing the same things that you have also. And
me too. Sure. Yeah.
In our neighborhood,
we got to be careful. We got to be careful.
Sure. So these are just discussions of things we're hearing. We're not saying that, to do these things. We're just saying we're hearing these things.
Right. And also with the chemtrails, right? Well, if here's something that we have to take into consideration, right? So you've been to Dr. Bob's A4M, right? So we've all been there, okay?
We've all been there,
so,
yeah.
So I went there, and there was a company there that was testing you for heavy metals, right? So I decided to take that test. I wanted to see how much heavy metals was in my body. So I take the test, right? And for the most part, I was pretty decent with the exception that I was high in aluminum. And I'm like saying, "Oh my God, that's not good."
What?
And she says, "Oh," and she goes, "Oh, no." She says, "No, that's it's not that bad." She says, "Everybody is high in aluminum." And I'm like, so I'm thinking to myself,
Really?
okay, I'm saying, yeah. I'm saying chemtrails, we're inhaling all this aluminum oxide, blah, blah, blah. So if this 5G hits and they crank that sucker, they fire that puppy up, and if we're heavy in all these metals in our body, what do you think is going to happen? I look at it as if you put aluminum in a microwave and turn it on. What happens?
Yeah.
So there is a certain part of it to be concerned about. I think
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna find out, and we're gonna find out soon.
I heard August there's going to be a big breakthrough of things and truth coming to us in August, and I don't know what that means, but I've been hearing it from a lot of friends that August is going to be a very interesting month.
And you know what, you guys? I hear we're going to have another turnaround.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's going to come back again until we find, a solution to this. That's our news here in Canada. It's like, it's going to calm down and you're going to get to go out again, but it's going to turn around and we're going to be stuck indoors again for another few months when winter hits. I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying that's what's on our news here right now.
Sure.
It's going to come back again because there's really not a solution.
Well, I don't think you're going to find a solution. I think this is the new norm.
They will.
I don't think they're going to. I think this is the new flu. And I think what's going to happen is the thing that we're talking about to get the immune system stronger. And the way we have to change the way a lot of people have to change the way they're living, because I don't think this is going to go away.
Let me tell you what's happening.
Oh, I agree with you, Brett. Absolutely. This is the new flu. Like it's like a SARS.
Yes.
Yeah.
SARS has been around for years.
This is the reason why this is going to be worse, and it's going to get worse.
It will.
They're finding out people right now. There's people right now that are getting it right now that already been cleared from it, and they're coming back in again, and it's come back.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because you guys have to understand, all the research they've been doing, they're finding out that there's HIV that's been added to this, okay? Which will make it, that will make it come back again, okay? And that's
it
why
will
it's coming
come back again, but it's because oh my God.
Yeah, this is biologically engineered from everything that all the research that I've been doing and I've seen. This has been biologically engineered, and it's not because how does HIV get into that unless it's biologically engineered?
I did not know that.
It's been proven. There's so much information out there right now that proves it. So anyhow, so that's what we're up against.
So I think what's happened is it's unfortunately I have to go to my next interview, but we got.
Oh no.
I think we have to do another interview, maybe on my radio show, if you're both interested.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? I want to end with this. It will not end. It's your show. I'm taking over.
Taking my show from me, are you?
Yeah, that's what Sharon does.
Pisses me off.
Okay, it's okay.
I have a lot of Asian friends in both the U.S., here in Canada, and of course in Asia. As you all know, I've been around the world, and they're getting beat up, because Trump called this Chinese flu, and it didn't start with eating bats.
Exactly.
This is so freaking ridiculous. Gonna watch my language here. I can be harsh, but and people are getting accosted. I mean, great people. I mean, great upstanding citizens that are Asian that are getting spat on. Their cars are getting scratched.
Right.
They're getting pushed around. It's like people have to understand this didn't really come from people eating bats in China.
No.
Yeah, they were just recently, they were in an Asian community, and windows of all these businesses, about a dozen different businesses, they broke all the windows in them. And so that is really sad.
So it's awful. It's happening over here too.
one thing we
Yeah.
need to take from this is exactly what we're talking about. Let's not blame the Chinese people that live in the, because usually it's not.
I blame the Rothschilds. I blame J.P. Morgan. I blame the frickin' secret society. I truly do. Call me crazy.
I think
that's my thoughts.
I think a lot of things is in countries we can't blame people. We have to blame the politicians a lot of times for what's going on in the world. And people typically, when you travel, everybody's nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think we have to have another show.
Okay.
Thank you both for being
Next
on.
time I'll let you have Harry all by yourself.
No, you know what? I got more value. I mean, we got a lot of value out of this, and we'll definitely look and review the interview and see what people think.
I didn't even get a chance to plug my movie. It's coming out this summer. Animal Crackers was going to be released.
That's going to be the next interview.
Yeah. There you go.
Interview.
All
okay,
right.
I thank both of you for being on.
Brett,
Thank
I
you
love
for
you.
having us.
I love
Great
both.
to see you.
I love both of you, and I respect both of you. You know that. I want to thank my sponsors, Attorney King Amanpour, for which my lights are turned on. Thank you, King. Indian Motorcycle of San Diego and Cosmopolitan Restaurant and Hotel.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank both of you too. When you come to San Diego, we'll go have a nice dinner at the Cosmopolitan. And again, thank you, Harry Mock. And
well, we don't know when that's going to happen, but
we never know. And the wonderful Sharon Bruneau, who I'm big fans of both of yours, and I feel fortunate to call you both friends.
Thank you, Brett.
All right, sweetheart.
You both have a good day.
All right, you do the same.
You too
Thank
now.
You.
Bye.
Bye, Share Bear.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Meeting. The meeting is here.